Hi there, welcome to the RevOps show. 2 episodes into the season, and we're going on a roller coaster ride of emotions today. We're talking about customer success, but not the fun rainbows and sunshine side of customer success, the side of customer success that people are getting wrong, and where customer success is failing us. So buckle up, we're going for a RevOps ride.
Jess,
Doug?
you didn't expect that, did you?
No, I didn't. Happy Friday, Doug.
I was going to ask you, what day is it?
It's Friday. It's also only January 12th. It's not. We haven't gone through a whole year yet. It just feels like it.
It does indeed. It does indeed. I thought you'd be happy. I thought I have a surprise, sort of a surprise, and I thought it would bring a smile, but it doesn't appear to be bringing a smile.
What's the surprise?
Do you not notice anything?
That you're wearing a Reds hat?
I'm wearing a Cincinnati Reds hat.
You had it on earlier, so
You're not supposed
Sorry.
to let the audience know that we
Sorry.
talk between podcasts.
Sorry.
Should we talk about the 73 Reds?
No, let's not.
Okay, got to ask you one more question.
You want me to text my dad?
Could you please ask your dad? Oh, this is a good question. Who is
Okay.
the greatest infielder in the history of the Cincinnati Reds?
Okay, let me ask him.
Who would you go with? Who would you choose, Jess?
I don't know.
Okay, let me explain what the infield is.
I don't know who I would go with.
But Jess, are
Yes,
you
Doug?
excited?
Am I excited about next week?
Do you want to tell everyone what's happening next week?
We're gonna be in the same city next week. You're coming to San Antonio.
We're not only going to be in the same city.
We're gonna be in
gonna
my
in
city.
your city.
My city. First time ever in 7 years of me, 7.5 years of me working here.
Have you been here 7.5 years, really?
Yeah, I have.
I thought it was 10. I guess it just feels like 10.
It just feels like 10. Yeah, exactly.
Well, didn't you say it's the first time ever? Can something be the first time ever in X number of years?
Oh my gosh. It's Friday, everybody.
Do you know what my number one pet peeve of sports announcers is?
What? I don't think we've talked about this.
Well, we're not supposed to have talked about it in the opening of the show, Jess.
Okay.
Oh, you mean even outside of that?
Yeah.
Very unique. He's a very unique player.
As opposed to a little unique.
As opposed to a little unique.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's a lot of unique.
Well, maybe they are very unique, Doug. Maybe they're unique in multiple ways.
Is that wouldn't that be the unique-averse?
Okay, wow. Didn't expect you to go there.
Like, that's a lot of unique.
That is a lot
That's
of
all I'm saying.
unique.
That's a lot of unique.
Very unique is a lot of unique. It is.
So actually, what I want whoever the announcer's partner is, when someone says that player is very unique, I want them to come back with, how unique is he?
Wow.
So I hit the wrong button. I meant to hit this one.
I thought we were just starting the show over. I just thought we're gonna redo the intro for an hour straight.
Can we start today over?
I don't know that I want to do today again though. So can we start tomorrow? Can we start tomorrow right now?
Well, hold on a second. If you start the day, when someone says, "Can I just start the day over?" Isn't that hitting the reset button? So it erases everything from that day, and you get to craft a whole new history.
I don't know that it will be any better the second time around, just knowing what I know now.
Alrighty. There we go. So what are we talking about today, Jess?
We're going to talk about customer success today.
Oh, sounds like a great topic.
Are you excited?
You know, I guess you can be very excited. I guess excited's not like you know.
How excited are you?
There you go. I'm going to be in Jess's City. Isn't that what it's called?
Called Jess's City.
Jess's City, Texas.
Jess's City, Texas. Yes.
You know what? Before we get into the topic of customer success, Jess, I'm coming to San Antonio, Texas, and it's going to be 19 degrees.
I have a meme I'm going to share with the group after this. everybody's in a panic, worried that we're going to get snowmageddon again. It's not supposed to snow. We're going to be fine. People are just PTSD from 2 years ago.
Hold on. There's one question that'll tell me if everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does Ted Cruz have plans to go to Acapulco?
I don't know. I do not schedule Ted Cruz's travel for him, but let me do some research after we get off here.
I call that the Ted Cruz indicator.
Yep. You are bringing the cold with you. It's going to be literally freezing while you're here.
But you know, that is an unfair thing to say because the weather pattern is from the west to the east, and I'm coming from the east.
Okay. So maybe
you
not.
Want to know what just totally blows?
It's going to be warm before you get here and warm afterwards?
It's going to be not as cold here while I'm there.
Oh.
And then the cold while I'm there will be here.
You're going to take it with you back home. So that will work.
It's supposed to be 13 degrees the day I get back.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
So maybe that's why I'm salty today.
I don't control the weather patterns of the greater San Antonio area as much as I'd like to, Doug. So I have no control.
You're telling me there's no pause button. There's no controlling the weather patterns. I don't know, Jess. I don't know.
Anyhow, guys, I might be in trouble.
I think today's episode is going to be a little bit interesting. Hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's insightful. I'm gonna disclaim the fact that I'm a little salty today, so I'll try not to let too much of that salt come out.
Okay.
You were supposed to say, but Doug, that's why people love you.
That I was going to say that's your job. That's why everybody's here. Everybody's here for the saltiness.
And I want to give here's a thing for today's episode. How often do I give disclaimers for episodes?
Are we getting a disclaimer today?
I've got a disclaimer today. Yeah.
Okay.
Disclaimer is,
all right.
I mean everything that I say respectfully today.
Okay.
I am not talking about the people. I'm talking about the process.
Okay.
And despite that disclaimer, I don't think this episode is going to make me a lot of friends. But I do think it's a really important episode.
Okay, well, I'm nervous now. So congratulations.
There you go. So what we're talking about today is what's wrong with customer success. What I am going to say, customer success is failing. I will start off with customer success is failing to deliver.
Okay. So before we get into that, let's take a step back and let's talk about
Should I breathe?
You should breathe. Yeah, take a breath. Because apparently we're salty enough that we had to give a disclaimer at the top of the episode, of the top of the topic.
That disclaimer was despite the fact that I was salty.
Okay, gotcha. Let's start with so let's talk a little bit about the origins of success. Can you talk us through that?
Well, let's talk about this. I mean, I'm curious what you think about. I'm curious what you think about this because I know like you specifically did not do a lot of research in advance of this. We wanted to have it to be kind of a fresh conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you hear customer success, like a question I think that's really important to ask, like, what is customer success? What?
I mean, so we have talked about this recently, so I have given this, right. Yeah. So for me, it's the experience that you provide to the customer. It's the experience.
Let me change the question.
Okay.
Customer success is a department now. It's a job now. It's a role.
Gotcha.
What is customer success? What is customer success?
It's servicing the customer once they've paid us money.
So here's the question: is customer success simply customer service with a nicer name?
I think it is. I mean, so maybe not, because there is a component of trying to maintain and even upsell in customer success frequently. So I think it's a combination of customer service and sales. That's what I think it is.
So why did we stop calling it customer service?
I don't know. Success sounds better.
So if you look at customer success, where the term is certainly where it originated, and I think where it's most dominant, are recurring revenue businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you call the customer success role in other? And you know what? I'm going to change that. Not recurring revenue businesses, subscription businesses,
Okay.
which are recurring revenue. But
Right. Yep.
I was talking with one of our clients last week, and of course, because so much is about SaaS and recurring is like, well, it's not recurring revenue, but it's reoccurring revenue,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically you have the on-site contract with this company.
Right.
That's going to get you revenue, right?
Right.
Do you know what you call the person who mixes service and sales together? Do you know what that's called in traditional sales?
Sales.
No,
Oh, okay.
the account manager.
Oh, account executive, account manager. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So when you look at what happened, so you had customer service, you have support, and what subscription businesses were seeing was churn.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the thing you have to understand about churn. Churn happens. Forrest Gump said, "Shit happens." Churn happens. That should be a shirt. We should get a shirt that says "Churn happens." The longer you're going, the more churn is going to be an issue, right? Jim Collins' first best-selling book was called Built to Last. I never liked the title
Mm-hmm.
because it infers that the purpose of companies is to last forever. You know what? The whole idea of creative destruction is that life has a useful, there's a period, right?
Yep.
So here's what I think the intended difference between service and success is. Why is customer success? Because I would say customer success does not meet the threshold of account manager.
No.
It's less than account manager,
Mm-hmm.
a true account manager, right? Now you've got this term account manager that gets used that's very back office administrative. I'm
Yep.
talking about account manager from a sales role, from a revenue role.
Yeah.
Is that customer service is passive and reactive. And the intent of customer success is to be proactive.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
what
agree.
they intended to do. And so if we're proactive, we'll add value.
Right.
But by the way, I've got to go back and talk about commoditization again. And I've got to talk about the 4 C's, the 4 sharks, the 4 C sharks, right? What is it? Complexity. Oh, competition
Mm-hmm.
leads to greater complexity,
Yep.
leads to commoditization, leads to compressed margins. What is commoditization? Yep. Commoditization is when the buyer reduces everyone to an arbitrary lowest common denominator defined by them. And by the way, the problem, and where we used to talk about this all the time, was, do you know what your customers call value add? Complexity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Because if I have to call something value add, you know what I know?
It's not a value.
It's not valuable.
Yeah.
By the way, you know how I know if I'm adding value? They're willing to pay more.
Yeah.
Okay. So this whole, so the idea, and I want to be clear here. I think if you look up in the dictionary or in the business pantheon of ideas and strategies that were genuinely good with good intent that have gone horribly wrong, I think the picture you'd see there would be customer success.
Okay.
And I think customer success I think the customer success role is probably the worst thing that's happened to customer experience in my life.
Why do you say that?
Because it's I mean, so first off, why are so like I talk about this with technology, right? Why are the numbers not shifting? Why are we spending more in technology, but our cost of customer acquisition is going up? Our costs per sale is going up. Why, all those numbers are going up, right? It's supposed to create efficiency, right? We're buying it. We're investing in technology because with technology you can do more with less,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So why hasn't customer success solved the churn problem? Why isn't customer what? I don't even mean solve the churn problem. Like, why haven't the numbers shifted completely? And the reason is, right? The reason I say this, and again, I want to emphasize, this is not about the people. This is not about the people. It's about the underlying structure and the incentives and the choices. Why are customer success managers not equivalent to account managers? I can tell you why. I'm curious if you want to. But why don't you have an equivalent sales role,
Mm-hmm.
a farmer, if you will?
Yep.
Why don't you have that in the role of customer success, which is really what that's supposed to be? Why?
Right.
Do you know why?
No.
Far too expensive. Far too expensive.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right?
That's
Look
not
at what
where I
account
was
managers
going
get
to go,
paid.
but yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at what account managers get paid.
Yeah. Sure.
So here is the fundamental, like this is where we start off, where everything goes wrong with customer success. What's the roll call?
Customer success.
So wouldn't you infer that the role of customer success is to ensure the customer
That's
is
customer successful. Yes. Yes.
Where are the metrics? What are
The
the
me-
metrics?
The metrics are on the customer success person, not for like the metrics aren't measured on the
Are they
customer.
on the customer or the
No,
selling?
they're the selling
Right?
organization on the
Correct.
rep. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. We call it customer success, but the only measurements we use are
Yeah.
what's good for us. Oh, but Jess, we can help you grow.
Well, it's an
I
interesting.
didn't buy from you. I didn't buy you for that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's actually an interesting point that I hadn't thought of before, about the metrics and who they're on, because we talk about this a lot when we talk about data and metrics, which is what you measure matters. What you measure is what gets paid attention to. And so if those metrics aren't attached to the customer, they're attached to the selling organization, they're attached to the rep, and the rep is paying attention to that. That's what the rep's focused on.
And what's the underlying basis of all the metrics? Efficiency.
Right. Yep.
Well, hold on a second. We're now talking about a customer relationship, right? We are talking about a one-to-one relationship, right? That's not efficient.
No.
Right? If we're talking about customer success and we're going to put people into the role,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to drive for efficiency, we've got conflicting incentives. We've got majorly conflicting priorities. Now, here's the next thing, and this gets to the underlying structural element about all of this that unfortunately, and this is where I'm going to lose friends. Where has the customer success role become most prevalent? SaaS companies.
Mm-hmm.
Are SaaS companies product companies or service companies?
They're product companies.
They're product.
Right.
I'll never forget. My brother went to college. I went to Shepherd College. Yes, now Shepherd University. Right. My brother went to MIT.
Yes.
So my brother actually met people. I drank. And so one of the people that my brother knew well, they were associates more than they were friends,
Mm-hmm.
started what was a super hot startup, went public, and there was, I forget the exact issue, but there was something that we noticed that we thought like, hey, we could advise you on this. And it was about that there was a services element that was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother reached out to him. I'm not going to name names because I don't. And I'll never forget what he told my brother. He said, Donald, what you don't understand is I don't want service revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The problem is if I get service revenue, if I get too much service revenue, it's going to lower my valuation because a product business is valued at a significantly higher multiple than a services business.
Right.
Right. So if you're at a product company, if you're at a technology product company, who are the what roles, what departments would meet the masters of the universe? I could use a different term, but that would probably be BSD is the term for anyone that's read Bonfire of the Vanities. Right? Product.
Yeah.
So if you're on the product side, if you're tech,
Right.
if you're and sales.
Right.
Okay. Service is important, but
Mm-hmm.
but service isn't a masters of the universe role.
Right.
By the way, another critical metric.
Mm-hmm.
So product gets more multiple than service.
Right.
And another important metric is revenue per employee.
Right.
Well, when you get into services, trust me when I tell you this. When you get into services, you don't get revenue per employee.
Sure.
Services are not as scalable.
Right.
Right. We're going to scale customer success. Okay, hold on a second. And so what does customer success become? Now, by the way, I've seen it implemented in one of two ways, right? I've seen it implemented where it's just sell more stuff.
Right.
And
Sure.
under the name of serve.
Mhm.
Right? I think with the tech companies that we use, I think on average, we go through 3. I get 3 I'm your new success manager email
Oh, easily.
every 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There is so much turnover.
Yeah.
Why is there so much turnover? Well, A, they're hard jobs.
Yep.
They're conflicting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. And again, I'm not insulting anybody. It needs to be said. When you're really good at it, you either get hired outside
Mm-hmm.
because there's a way north to go from a comp standpoint, or the sales organization or the product organization takes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's just where it is. I'm sorry. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The structure of the organization. Now here's where it's not their fault. And I want to be clear for anyone listening to this, anyone in customer success who feels that I'm being unfair. What I am saying is this is not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's happening is the customer success role is being given a responsibility and not given the resources or the metrics to be able to do it correctly. Oh, and by the way, if you go to customer success, if you better impact the metrics probably in 30 days, if not 90 days. There is no right, and so it is always. So I said one side is just the sale. The other side is there is the intent to serve, but here again, the value proposition and the incentives are completely misaligned. Right? A, does the person have the knowledge base, the skills, the training, and the support to provide the quote unquote value add?
Right.
B, do I want the value add?
You mean as the customer?
As a customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. C, and here, like, this is hard enough in sales, right? I've always said that one of the things that makes salespeople, that has developed the reputation that salespeople have, is the nature of how their job gets laid out. And there's a degree of laziness in this, but so it doesn't have to be this way.
Right.
Is like I've always said, like the problem with salespeople is they're the most passive participant in the process, because to them there's only one outcome, and that is you buy.
Right.
Right. Whereas when you become active, when you begin to look at it as a decision process, we're looking, is this a good decision for you? Is this a good decision for us, et cetera? That actually is what enables you to really have impact, influence, et cetera. And you actually become someone who creates that.
Yep.
Right? But no salesperson, very, very, very few salespeople get credited because there was a $500,000 sale they could have made that wouldn't have been the right sale. So they said, no, thank you.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, the problem is far too often it's the reverse in the sales organization. It's, hey, let me tell you about the person that, right? Okay. Well, it's worse for customer success, because here's a question.
Okay.
What if the customer should churn?
Oh, interesting.
What if this isn't the right? What if it's time for you to move on?
Well, and so that's an interesting statement, because we've seen this. We've grown and the customer hasn't, and so that's no longer a fit. It's not a fit on either side. It's not good for them, it's not good for us. And we've also had customer changed in some way, shape, or form, and so they're no longer a fit. So like, not good for them probably more than us. And we've parted ways friends, but like, that's the natural progression of any business, both on the selling organization side and the customer side. People are going to grow. People are going to grow apart.
We did a RevOps show on when RevOps isn't the right choice. And there
Right.
was a client, it was actually one of our largest retainers. And I said, look, where you are right now, if this is what you're looking for, it's not going to drive, like, we
Right.
recommend you do something else.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if the customer's going to churn? That is not something, and again, this isn't the fault of the people. That's not something that a customer success person is candidly allowed to think
No.
or allowed to think about. I mean, they're not doing it maliciously. And
Well,
and
no,
look,
because
customer success
they get
go on.
churn is bad. Churn is bad. Doesn't matter what churn it is. Churn is bad because of their metrics. I'm saying for the success person, like all churn is bad, so they can't think about it that way. It's always bad.
So there's actually something even worse than that.
Okay.
If you don't rate 10 out of 10 on a CSAT,
Oh yeah.
or 5 out of 5 on a CSAT, that's customer
Yeah.
satisfaction score. So here's the thing. Not only, I mean, we deal with this all the time. Somebody says, but I want to do X.
Yeah.
And I say, I want to play in Major League Baseball. I want to play Major League Baseball, right?
Right.
It's not going to happen for me. It's not going to happen for you,
Yeah.
right? Do you want to yell at me about it? Or do we want to figure out what we're going to do?
Right.
Right. I'm having some fun here, but it's like, I don't tell you, oh no, you can't do that. And the reason that you should be happy is because we have something that's going to take 5 more steps.
Right.
Right. But I can't make sure that you're served if you're not going to give a 5 sat. Because you know what? Sometimes, and this is where delight, we talked about this in an earlier episode, a few weeks ago. This is where delight has gone wrong.
Right.
Right. I'm using a core product. It's an operationally focused product. Like, it's almost if I notice it, it's bad. Right.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, if you take a look at, I mean, if you're in large markets, competitive businesses, etc., if they're not frustrated, they're not breathing.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
It's hard. There's a lot of hard stuff to be done. And that means there are times where you're not going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And here's the thing that's fascinating, because in the last 3 weeks, can I brag about Lyft for a second?
Sure. Let's do that.
In the last 3 weeks, we have gotten, I mean, candidly, some amazing feedback.
We have. Yeah, we have.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm surprised that we got the feedback that we got, that it's worded the way we worded.
There's one that came in literally today that I'm shocked by. Just like, never thought we would get that feedback from that group. Like, shocked.
But you know what? The video that we just got, that
too. Yeah.
And the reason is, like, I'm not surprised that he feels that way. I'm surprised that he articulated it that way.
Right.
Because it's not smooth. But now understand, they know that it's not smooth. They know that part of the reason it's not going to be smooth is because they don't have the things in place for it to be smooth. And oh, by the way, it's never going to be smooth.
Well, so here's one thing that actually gets to, and it's funny. I had a content interview today with our team for a blog post, and we hit on this a little bit. It wasn't success related, but I think this is a part too where, because you have to have that facade that everything is wonderful and sunshine and rainbows in that success role, it's just become the expectation. We don't set the expectation for the customer in that success role frequently that, yeah, you're going to be frustrated. Yeah, things are not always going to be smooth. Like, and I think that's a place where those ratings aren't the 5. And it's because we did a terrible job of setting expectations, because there's this facade that success has to put up that everything's going to be wonderful all the time.
But you know why we're getting, this is the best blank we've ever spent. This is the, right? Mm-hmm. The reason we get it, and it's funny because our team is really just beginning to learn this, right? If things could run smoothly, you know what's interesting? They wouldn't need us.
No.
We'd be unnecessary.
Yeah. Right.
Right. It's because we understand what to do. And what they also know is they never have to doubt us.
Right.
I don't mean doubt us like, are we going to be right? Are we going to be, it's they never have to doubt us. Are we getting it straight? And look, a lot of people aren't going to like hearing this, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily regular, but with a degree of frequency, we get asked to have calls specifically without a success person there because they want to have a frank conversation about something.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And again, why does success have to be sunshine and rainbows? So some of it is you're hiring a service oriented person where there's that natural,
Sure.
you're uncomfortable when they're uncomfortable. But
Right.
but again, it's back to the metrics. It's back to oh wait, this could be churn.
Yep.
And it's my favorite line, by the way. Well, this could be something that could result in churn.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, everything could be something that results in churn. Everyone, right? There is right.
Right.
What's interesting is, you know, it's funny. The bigger the problem,
Mm-hmm.
the calmer the reaction needs to be.
Agreed.
Right. And so again, this like when I deal with service and they tell me, like, they're in essence telling me that I should be happy with this outcome. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Right. Don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining.
Right. Right.
And so when we communicate, look, I totally understand. If I'm sitting in your seat, I wanted to do that too. Hey, you know what? That is a reasonable request. By the way, we get it on the service side. That's a reasonable request. Sometimes we can't do it. Sometimes we can't do it at the threshold that we're operating on.
Right.
Do I expect you to be happy about that? No.
No.
And that's okay. Right?
Yep.
Because here's the other thing about customers. Did you ever watch West Wing? I know, of course you watch West Wing because we talk about it.
My favorite shows.
Let Bartlett be Bartlett.
Yep.
Sometimes customers have the customer.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? I'm gonna be candid. When customers are customering, it's uncomfortable to scary. And by the way, I put this down when I put this down in the notes. I knew you were gonna roll your eyes at it. I'm sure you did. But you also knew exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And so does
100%.
everybody that's listening.
Yeah.
Customers are gonna customer.
Yeah.
And sometimes, by the way, I'm dealing with this. We actually left this product. And at one point it was a product that we recommended. And I mean, they are failing to deliver. And I'm putting this on there. And they weren't necessarily telling me that I should be happy. But they never acknowledged. I mean, it was we're sorry for the inconvenience. No.
Right.
This isn't sorry for the inconvenience. This is sorry you did not deliver on. You're
Right.
not delivering the core product functionality. I am upset. I want to be upset. And by the way, if you would acknowledge the validity of my upsetness.
Yeah.
Right? And so all those things come in. And so the fundamental problem with customer success is that customer success, actually there's two fundamental problems. Customer success isn't aligned with the customer.
No.
Right. You know what else is important? We used to do this as this is part of our define your game stage when we would do go to market in our earlier go to market efforts. And one of the things that I always talk about is, as a seller, the transformation that you need to make is to move from focusing on what you sell to what your customers are buying.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And I'm buying what I'm buying. And oh, by the way, if you have a large customer base, there's lots of different reasons for why I'm buying.
Right.
Right. I don't really care what you think you're selling.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's not relevant. I mean, I don't mean I don't
Sure.
care like screw you. I mean, I don't care. It's not particularly relevant to me.
Right.
Right. You know, to share a story, we have a partner manager who wanted to do business reviews with us because they could help us with, understanding strategies for this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, look, I don't mean any disrespect to you, but I actually, and at the time when this happened, so by the way, whoever's listening to this, it's not who you think you are. I'm like, I'm actually paying somebody for that service.
Right.
Right. We actually have an advisor that we're working with.
Yeah.
On that. Right. That's not only not the best thing you could do for me, it's probably the worst thing you can do for me.
Right.
Right. And so there's a complete misalignment between how a customer success manager is measured and what the customer actually wants, which connects to the second problem, which is, candidly, customers don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying never,
hmm
but I'll tell you, what ends up happening in the best customer relationship, the best CSM relationships I've seen with customers is it becomes very relationship. It's you become friends, but the funny thing is, and I've looked for it. And by the way, the only thing I've seen would be negative correlation.
hmm
I've not found anything that shows customer success leads to greater customer retention.
Right.
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about, again, if you take a look at, so like, I love the person there. I have, we joke around, et cetera. When something happens that would cause me to turn, like the idea is, well, hey, Jess is friends with, so Jess won't churn.
Right.
And you know what else is kind of funny, and I'm going to say this is anecdotal, so in all fairness, I could be wrong. In some ways, if I was your customer success manager, as a matter of fact, I know this as a matter of fact, because I was not your account manager or whatever we called it when you were a client.
You are not.
When you and I, I think we talked more than you talked to whoever's supposed to be delivering services to you. And we probably spent half the time making fun of something happening in your company, making fun of something happening in my company, or just making fun of something else in general.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's a fair assessment of what went on. Yes.
And so we became friends.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We enjoyed the conversation. You became less comfortable to share with me that there was a problem. You became less comfortable to share with me
100%.
that Mike was so in its own way, that customer success role can sometimes cause that to be.
Yep.
But look, Jeff, I don't want to make this all about what's wrong with customer success.
Well, I was gonna,
because the roles because the job is important.
Yep.
You need to pay attention to retention, whether you're a subscription business or otherwise.
So what do we do about it? How do you fix it?
Well, Jess, you were gonna create the easy button, weren't you?
I was. I'm still working on it.
So, partner-led growth.
Mm-hmm.
That word makes me sad. That term makes me sad.
Why does it make you sad?
Because it's partnerships gone wrong. So it's funny. The partner manager for one of the applications that we work with and we're fans of wanted to schedule a, hey, we're at the beginning of the year. Let's, it's been a while since we talked. Let's do blah, whatever. And I kind of kick off or whatever. And I said, hey, look, we're a fan. You're our number one choice.
Yeah.
But every time you send me this email and say, hey, let's have a conversation to talk about how we can work better together. It's always, who can I introduce you to? What can I do to generate?
Right. What can I do for you? Yeah.
And every time the conversation turns to how you can help us, it kind of doesn't go anywhere. So if it's not going to be a mutual thing, then look, we're going to let you know when and the thing that cracks me up is he hasn't replied to the email.
I noticed that. Yeah.
And that's not where partners started. See, there's another problem with product and service.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here's the fundamental problem that tech companies have. Here's the fundamental problem that product companies have. Tech companies, product companies, technology, they're built on algorithms. They eliminate variance. Organizations are all about variance. Product doesn't speak business. Product doesn't speak user.
Yeah.
Product needs a translator. Product needs an adapter. That's services.
Yep.
Services is designed to align, to adjust, to bespoke, to whatever you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
And product and service don't speak the same language. They do not fit. Right? Channel partners and partners, if you go to like managed service providers, we take the technology and we configure it for you. We're built for that, for that distinction, that differentiation, that diversion. Right? The reason that partners existed was product companies, tech companies couldn't get their products installed. They had a huge purchase to revenue problem because someone would buy the tech, but it would not get implemented to be used, so the revenue didn't get generated. So they began to bring in partners to help manage that and partners to serve that. And even though, and if you look in the SaaS space, everyone's taken the HubSpot model that was driven on the sales side. But if you take a look at the metrics that HubSpot had that drove why they really started to fully adopt, the organization started to fully adopt partner services. And this is when they were much smaller and more of a just marketing company, but it's still, I'm pretty sure, true, was that they found the retention numbers when someone was using a partner versus not using a partner. So here's the thing. It's great if partners can drive business growth. It's great if it's if the partner is leading the growth and they're bringing that to you. But the reason that partners actually really create value is they're the ones who they're built to build that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. That's what they're there for. You ready for this? And this is a crazy thought. Trust your partners.
Yeah.
Trust your partners. That's why you have them. Right. So I am all for partner networks. Absolutely. They help to build and establish and define the relationship. And by the way, your partners are not working at odds with you. If the customer turns on you, they're probably turning on the partner.
Right.
And here's something I can tell you. Here's something I can tell you with a very high degree of confidence. Whatever percentage of revenue that customer represents to the product company,
mm-hmm.
they represent a higher percentage.
Much higher. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Build your partner program for that. By the way, and judge your partners on how well they retain.
Yeah.
Right. Here's another thing. If you identify a problem, use your partners.
Yeah.
Use your partner. Like they've built that relationship. I'm not saying don't have a relationship with the end customer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I've said this on the sales side. I'll say this on the service side. There is value in the combination and in the independent relationship as well.
100% agree.
But what I'm seeing in customer success is that these companies, and again, why? Well, because they're really driving other metrics, upsell, this, that.
Sure.
Here's the second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get clear on your proposition. What is your proposition? What is your value proposition? What is the selling proposition? What's being bought? Right? What's the proposition of your success plan? What's the proposition of your retention plan?
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to tell me we're going to advise you on something, then make sure somebody's capable of advising.
Right.
Here's where success. And by the way, there are some people who know me who probably know, oh, well, Doug's just upset. No, this is from feedback that we get from the customer.
Yeah.
Right. Don't gaslight your customers.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing that pisses a customer off more than that.
Right. By the way, the best industry to learn from here is learn from the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Jess, I have bad news for you. 3 of your arteries to your heart are blocked. But I've got really good news. We're going to cut you open and, right, treat bad news like bad news. This is my favorite. Use your customer success manager to communicate a price increase. Hey, Jess, I've got some really good news for you. We've been adding so much value and we were looking at, and because of that, we're going to raise prices. We're raising our prices by 20%.
Right.
Right? Be honest, be clear.
Yeah.
Here's the next thing. Feedback. Even bad feedback is good.
Yeah.
Treat feedback like feedback.
And you mean feedback from the customer to success. That's what you're talking about. Yep.
Feedback from the customer to the company.
Yeah.
Make it extraordinarily easy for that feedback to come. You know, I've seen so many companies fail to develop fans because they can't stand someone complaining about it because they try to solve the complaint every time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You bring 2 fans together, the first thing they're going to do is complain about their team.
Yeah.
Now, take a fan from another team and they say something about it, then there's a problem.
Right.
Now we're fighting.
Sure.
But I've seen where like there's that don't tolerate.
Yep.
What's the fastest way to to make me less likely to give feedback, to make people less likely to give feedback?
Overreact.
Like, I've learned from me, this is my weakness. You share something with me and I want to dig into it. Not even because I'm trying to protect or gaslight or anything. I'm trying to help. But what I realize is the downside of that, and why I have to manage that for me, is I make it hard for someone to feel like they can give me quick feedback, because they're concerned that, well, if I tell Doug this, he's going to try to help. Like, and I've had people tell me this, like, for all the right reasons, Doug.
Yeah.
Like, for why I value you, but so make it extraordinarily easy to give feedback, and make it really, really easy. Really, really, really easy for me to connect when I want to connect. Make it really clear that you're there when I need you, right?
Yeah.
Make it clear we're here.
Yep.
Right. This is a role of marketing that can come in to make it clear of how should I be using you? How should I be thinking about you?
Well, and so this is something I see frequently as the main point of contact for our customers where we have those partner relationships. They either can't get a hold of somebody or like don't even know where to go to get a hold of or who to go to. Like and so then they're coming to us because they don't know.
But here's something that one of our clients told us, and they're in a high level program. They're in a VIP white glove, blah 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 blah. And what they said was, Doug, they didn't say this to me, but if they had said it to me, they would have said, Doug, I've got more meetings than I can handle. I don't need another meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. Make it clear that if you have a success program, make it clear that if they want proactive contact, if they want regular contact and you want to do that it's there for you.
Yep.
But don't push it.
Yep.
Because here's the thing that I found. If someone wants to talk to you, if a customer who's paying you wants to talk to you, they tend not to be shy about that. So if you feel like, well, I'm having to follow up with them 5 times because to be able to schedule our first meeting, maybe what they're saying is I don't need to meet with you, and that's okay. Now, maybe there's a problem. Maybe you've seen a problem that you need to address. Then guess what? You know what you need to do? Keep sales involved.
Right.
Have my account executive involved. The account executive is who I talk to. The account executive is what I've explained everything to. Why do we not have the account executive involved? Efficiency, cost.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Are we about to, right? If it's important, resource it.
Yep.
Last things, align your metrics. Are the metrics aligned to the customer? And look, with all the right intentions, customer success metrics are the embodiment of Goodhart's law. Right? What was once a good measurable, once you turn it into the objective, stops being either a good objective or measure.
Yep.
Align your comp.
Yep.
And last thing is, remember what you fear. Remember, you get what you fear.
Yep.
If you design your customer success process to avoid churn, you'll get churn.
Yep. Agreed.
Take those approaches, and what you'll start seeing is customers will have success. They will talk about you. They will value you. And oh, by the way, you'll probably gain the efficiency that you're looking for.
Yep.
All right, Jess, did I lose too many friends?
I don't think you lost that many, actually.
So you're saying they didn't like me. They didn't like me to start with.
I mean, obviously, yes, exactly. Couple of things I want to hit on again that just to kind of reiterate some of what you talked about. If it's important, resource it. If there's a serious issue that's important, let's get the right folks to talk to the customer. What's the proposition of your success plan? That's a piece that I think doesn't get thought about. And then I know one thing that we talk to our customers about with how we work and how we work with our customer, that open and honest feedback loop is so important. I mean, they need to be honest with us. We got to be honest with them. That's the only way that you continue that trust. And that's actually how you grow that relationship. And from that is how we've grown some of our retainers with clients is they know that we're always going to be there to hear their concerns and they can give us that feedback, good or bad, and we're going to give them the same feedback, good or bad.
Jess, don't
Doug.
forget, just say no to shitty RevOps.
Till next time.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the RevOps Show. Doug, you still have a #friend in me, and I'm not just saying that because you're my boss. Sometimes we have to hear the hard stuff of the work we're doing. Right now, that hard stuff is where customer success could be doing a lot better. If you enjoyed this episode and want to keep up with us as new episodes come out, make sure to go subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any number of podcast platforms that you like. We would also really appreciate it if you rated the podcast itself. If you have any questions you would like to ask Doug or Jess about customer success, email me at hannah@liftenablement.com, hit us up on X @demandcreator, or LinkedIn @liftenablement. And until next time, just say no to shitty RevOps.